Welcome to Audience First, a podcast for tech marketers looking to break out of the echo chamber to better understand their audience and turn them into loyal customers. Every week, Danny Wolf has brutally honest conversations with busy tech buyers about what really motivates them, the things they hate that vendors do, and what you can do about it. Get access to practical information on how to build authentic relationships with your audience. Listen to and talk with your buyers, and apply real customer insights to your strategies and tactics. You owe it to the world to unmute your mic. Are you ready?
What is it that you hate most about the industry?
The insularness, the echo chamber. I despise the fact that we don't listen to people. Don't get me wrong. This is not universal. There's some amazing people in this industry. I look up to people like Chris Blask and Alan Friedman. They're mentors of mine, Jack Daniel. I'm incredibly lucky to have these wonderful people in my life and to know them, to learn from them. And they have such wide-ranging interests that you can talk to them about stuff outside of security. But the echo chamber effect of security is not easy, and compliance is similar. It has to be this way because that's what the rules say. Yeah, but there's reality that intrudes on that. And the fact that we've tried to use scare tactics for so long, FUD is just, everybody's jaded to FUD, man. We're done with that. So there's a lot I like and love and enjoy about this industry, including the community aspect of it. And there's quite a bit I'm not fond of, shall we say.
In my career, I'm the kind of person who would go to a conference and I'd wear a suit, right? And I'd wear high heels. I put my makeup on, I'll do my hair. Like, that's the way I like to present myself in the world. And I've had comments from men that I don't look credible because I don't have glasses and a beard, because I don't have this, like, things I could never control, right? Or, I don't look, gothy enough to be in security or things like that. And I'm like, can we stop that? Can the person that's in security just be recognized and credible for what they say, for what they know, for their actions, rather than for their looks? So I don't know. The first thing that just jumped to my mind is a company in Canada. If I remember, they're called something North Security. I don't remember the exact name, or Atlantic Security. They did a thing to remove stereotypes from people in the security realm. And they had a campaign called Do We Look Like Hackers, where they invited everybody to upload a picture of theirs and put the hashtag Do We Look Like Hackers. And then everybody who did that received a t-shirt that says Do We Look Like Hackers, that was sent everywhere. It didn't matter where in the world they were. They received their t-shirts. And I found that was so nice and so brought people together. And like, everybody did upload a picture, and I uploaded a picture with my daughter. And it was just wonderful to see the whole diversity that, like, hacker is not that person with the hoodie. And it's not that person that has to have purple hair. And it's not that, the certain dress style. You don't have to be goth. You don't have to be this, that, or the other, which is like some eccentric ways to look. So I find that from this company, Atlantic Security, was so a wonderful thing that they did and so helpful. And I wish they'd do it again. They don't have to send t-shirts, but, to kind of keep that awareness of the true essence of everybody working in security.
Nick, what do you hate most about the cybersecurity industry?
Yeah, I think buzzwords annoy the hell out of me, mostly because they're used by non-technical people. Like the slides that I call it marketecture, where it just looks so sexy, and the concept makes sense, but then they're using it in terms of just trying to use this buzzword like zero trust, right? Zero trust or SASE or things like that. It's annoying, and I really don't like it. It almost like it's a disingenuous undertone to it, right? Like you're coming up with what you think is this new space, and you're trying to call it something that is attractive, which I understand, right? I see both sides of it, but yeah, I don't necessarily like it, because if you get into those conversations and deeply pull those topics apart, you'll find out that most of the people that are saying them don't actually understand what it really means.
So Tal, tell me, what do you hate most about the cybersecurity industry?
Wow, that's a big question. I think there's quite a long list, but I think my current number one is probably the gatekeeping that I've been seeing in the last few years, which seems to be getting worse and worse. from a certain generation of security practitioners that seems to think that you need to have 20 years experience, 5 different certifications, and about 3 advanced degrees before you are allowed to apply for a first tier stock analyst. It seems like it's kind of became the Valhalla of IT, is that you have to be the most experienced person in everything because you can even imagine working for security. That really pisses me off. Because on the one hand, we keep complaining that we have 0 people. On the other hand, we make everything possible to actually stop new people from coming into the industry or moving from other parts of IT. So I think that probably is my current number one.
I think we need to have more where we're just discussing what hasn't worked, being completely open and candid, and understanding that in order for us to actually fix a lot of problems in the industry, we need to look at ourselves and say, you know what, a 25-year-old that just graduated college, who's working in a SOC, a NOC, or startup vendor, whether they're in, engineering, pre-sales, marketing, trying to get into lead, no matter what, if they're not shown the right path and the right way to analyze and think, they're going to fall into potentially the same issues, that some of us have fallen, where it's like, I don't like that vendor. I don't like them just because of X, and I love this vendor because of marketing or, for certain reasons, right? We need to change that, because even us as evaluators, when we're picking a vendor, we need to be open-minded, right?
So as a CISO, what do you hate most about the industry?
I think some of the things that just get kind of frustrating is the people will get companies, you'll get focused on a particular subject like machine learning or AI, and that's all you hear. We got AI and everything. We got blockchain and everything. We got machine learning and everything. And that drives me nuts because especially today, you pretty much expect most technologies are going to have machine learning in them. That's just table stakes. I don't really care about that. Tell me, how am I going to use it? What problems are going to solve? Why should I care? Why are you different than the other half a dozen companies that are doing the same thing? And so I kind of, at times, I think we have this herd mentality where you'll have a bunch of companies, they'll just kind of squash into a sector, and they're all doing the same thing. It's just different colors of the same thing. And that just drives me nuts. I'm trying to solve a problem. I'm trying to protect my company. I've got a unique business case for what I'm trying to do. And I hate having to deal with 6 to a half a dozen or more vendors who are all doing the same thing.
This is what's killing me. Vendors exist to solve a problem. Help us solve the damn problem. Help us do that without the noise. Help us do that ethically, morally. Help us do that quickly. Cut out the crap. Let's just get stuff done. And if it's not a match, well, it's not a match. Let's move on. There's plenty of us and plenty of you. Like if we can do this in a organized and I say good, but like in quotations, whatever that means, we can build that framework. We can do that in that manner here, then it's going to be success for years to come. I'm dealing with some people and some companies where they were multiple people like that. I've been dealing with them for years, and I continue bringing them on. And even if they're not necessarily a part of the sale in any one place, part of the conversation, more people know about them, more connections, and then we all go with our separate ways, and then meet up again there, and again, there's more value there. But like so many things, we're not doing enough to be deliberate about it, right? So your effort, what we're talking about, what I'm talking about, these salespeople, is that it's a dedicated effort for improvement, which I'm going to benefit from for years to come. The work you're doing is helping me now and in 20 years. Hopefully, I'm still doing this in 20 years, but yeah, we'll see.
I want to know, though, what you hate most about this industry.
The ambulance chasing is probably my number
chasing.
one. Colonial Pipeline hits, and all of a sudden, 4,768 vendors are hitting me up with, don't be the next Colonial Pipeline. SolarWinds hits, and it's the exact same thing again, and, et cetera, et cetera. Whoever's vulnerability du jour it is, Citrix or whoever over the years, Target, Home Depot, it doesn't matter, Equifax, the bad thing happens to somebody somewhere, And none, some huge percentage of the vendor community, I don't know, 60% of them jump on this ambulance chasing bandwagon. And I hate that. I hate it.
What's the alternative, though?
So taking advantage of negative press for other entities to me is not a good first foot in the door, right? It's okay to acknowledge that stuff like that happens. It's okay to have a really crisp, clean, and clear association of literally we were the ones who could have stopped that. But I think the problem is 90% of the people that are doing that kind of marketing believe they're the ones that could have stopped it, and only 10% probably really were. So it's best to just stay away from that approach altogether. It's best to just stick with the basics and the fundamentals. Like, look, are you concerned about this particular area of cyber? If you are, come check us out. That's what we do. It should really be a conversation. I think the initial approach that a lot of marketers do with CISOs, there's the insulting approach.
Mhm.
There's the like, do you even care about security? Yes, of course I do. That's why I'm a CISO. If you wanted to do it right, you'd go with us. That's awfully arrogant. Oh, don't be the next Colonial Pipeline. I had no intention of, and in fact, that particular vulnerability isn't even a problem of mine anyway. We're the
Yeah.
only ones who can fix and solve. No, I can guarantee you, I can go to the Momentum Cyberscape and find 18 others just like you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, it's about coming in positive. It's about coming in with a positive message of, hey, don't know you from a hole in the ground, Mr. or Mrs. CISO, whoever you're engaging and talking to. I don't know you from a hole in the ground. I have to make some fundamental assumptions that you know what you're doing and you're good at your job and you have missions and focuses and areas of concern. I'm not going to presume as a complete stranger to ask you to tell me what your areas of concern are, and I'm not going to presume as a complete stranger to tell you what they are either. Um, but I will say, hey, are you concerned about X? Are you interested in Y? Are you looking to do Q? Is Z something you've been, starting to investigate? Because we do, A, B, Q, or Z, or whatever it might be. Start with those positive kinds of conversations, and I really think it's that simple. And what that means is you're not going to get a positive hit as a marketer. You're not going to get a positive response back on some huge amount of effort you send out there, be it LinkedIn posts, emails, calls, whatever you're doing. You're not going to get as much response if you just take the higher ground. But
Yeah.
when you do get that response, it's gonna have started on a genuine foot in terms of building that relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. So take me through on the flip side, what you despise about this industry? What's the challenge? That one challenge that you're dealing with right now.
So two parts to that. So there's what
Mhm.
I despise about the industry, and then there's the big challenge, and they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
So what I despise about the industry is the mafioso type of behavior, the very
Mhm.
criminal-like behavior that I see demonstrated by the industry. These people are scared. A lot of times when we meet them, it's at one of their worst moments. Their business is in the middle of being taken down by cyber criminals. They don't know if they can feed their colleagues that next morning, right? They don't know if they're going to stay in business. And instead of coming in and providing help, we come in and shove a bunch of tooling in their face and a bunch of high buck consulting that doesn't actually move the needle, right? So it's the victimization of the clients and the customers that I hate about our industry. Now, what is my biggest challenge? I actually am very excited about this. I love to talk about this. I believe the biggest challenge in our industry today is that we do not speak human being.
Mm.
Because we do not speak human being, we talk tech. We are missing opportunities every minute, every hour, and every day to connect in meaningful ways with the people we've been charged with protecting. And by connecting with them in a meaningful way, we actually create an active defender. And the best security control that anybody can have are employees who are active participants in the defense of the organization. But the only way that I have found to achieve that is through personal understanding of what drives that human and then speaking human to them. I'll give you a quick analogy. Recently, I found a new way to describe what happens when you click a phishing link. Had a friend, terrible at it, failed the phishing test like 30 times in a row. I'm like, seriously, what's your problem, right? I said, tell me what you think happens when you click that link. They said, I get malware and the malware goes to the server. I said, okay, that's a pretty good description, but what does that mean? They said, I have no idea. And I said to them, Well, what if I told you that when you click the link, you've held open the door and invited the bad guy to come sit down in the living room unattended with all your stuff? Oh my gosh, why has no one ever said that before? You mean my actions affect the company that way? Yes. Oh my God, I get it now. I don't want to do that. This person has been getting phishing and security awareness training for over 20 years. But it wasn't until human was spoken to them in a way that
Yeah,
made sense to them, right? So that's my biggest
exactly.
challenge. That's what I fight every day is how do I simplify this? How do I humanize this so that we can start having conversations? It's not that people don't want to protect themselves. They just don't understand the why it's important, because every time we've explained it, we opened up with tech talk.
The one thing I hate in our industry is bullying and fear and putting other people down, and using that in your kind of marketing tactics is, what you're doing is you're doing psychology. You're using fear and you're making people feel bad so that they can contact you to get 10 minutes of your time. That is, for me, is the worst tactics ever. And it really, it angers me that people use those techniques. Because ultimately it's my time which is valuable. And to try and make me feel bad by not giving a person who hasn't pulled any trust up at any time is the wrong thing to do. And there's some large vendors who take that tactics. I think that they should really hard look at themselves. I think it'd be good to start having a way of reporting it. Not so much, one is reporting it back to the vendors to say, like we do with vulnerabilities. Here's your marketing techniques. Is this something you're comfortable with doing? Maybe there's this disconnect between the management team and those who are doing the campaigns. Maybe there's no communication there. Maybe people's left to do their own types of messages. So I think it's important. Almost like a kind of was it the vulnerability kind of reporting system, but for marketing campaigns.
I like people who are in this industry for the right reasons. I don't
Yeah.
I don't have any tolerance for people who are in this. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about, I hate seeing people get taken advantage of. Period. It doesn't matter if it's with information security, it doesn't matter if it's somebody walking down the street, it doesn't matter what it is. We're here to love people and protect people, and and you come off like you're a badass, but at the end of the day, you're a big softy, and you just, you love people.
What is it about these I don't know, like powerhouse, right? Like these leading vendors that pisses you off?
Well, I think fundamentally, you're not in the game for the right reason.
Mhm.
This is a service industry. It doesn't matter what, if you got all these products or whatever you do, this is a service industry. We're here to protect people. We're not here to, sell them a bunch of goods unless the goods are actually there to protect people. And I think sometimes you cross a line when, Arctic Wolf is great at, take them, or Accenture. They're fun. I was in occasionally they invite me to, what was it, Blue Ribbon Commission for the state of Minnesota. And it was, who was first? Dell was first, and then it was Accenture, and then it was me. And it was good that I was going last because it's always nice to play cleanup because, I can rip on their other stuff. And so Dell was preaching zero trust. I got nothing wrong with zero trust as long as you know what that is and you know how to do it. And then Accenture, same kind of thing, zero trust. And they had these slides, man. They were so slick. It was like, wow, I want to buy all of that. Like, I don't care what my budget is. I'll find budget for this. And then it came to me. So one of the questions that, they're preaching zero trust, and the CISO for the state of Minnesota, which is Rohit Tandon, great guy, really good dude. He asked Accenture, well, okay, so say I'm interested in zero trust, where do I start? And the guy had no answer. He was like,
Mhm.
I mean, how the fuck can you not answer that question? So, being that I'm cleanup, I hurried up and added a slide to my deck, where to start with zero trust. because it's the basics, it's the fundamentals. We're still, I've been in this industry for 30 years. We're still doing the same shit. What really matters is, I think, understanding what a person's motive is and where do they come from.
Yeah.
We do the CISP mentor program. We started that in 2010 with 6 students. It's free, 100%, like free, no strings attached. We don't want a dime. We don't want anything. And we started in 2010 with 6 students. Last year we had 6,500 students sign up. This year they're telling me that we'll have 10,000. But the point is on that is, we want you in this industry. We need you. What we need is people who will stand up to the bullshit. The mission is to fix the broken industry, not to make money. We will make money, focus on the mission. A lot of companies start out in the right spot. Even Arctic Wolf, started off in the right spot. I think CrowdStrike started off in the right spot. They take those investments and then they have to answer for the dollars. And I get how that happens. That's why we've never taken investments. We took an investment actually in Secure Studio, but it was 10%. You can't have a controlling interest because I don't want to have to answer for those dollars above the mission.
You tell me, what do you hate most about the industry? Ooh, it might surprise you actually. I think I hate most about the cybersecurity industry the egos. There are a select few, and this is kind of it's one thing I like about cybersecurity is everybody most people seem to work as a team, and it's not like in the developer world where you could be heads down only focusing on your code and you don't have to talk to another human being maybe unless you do a code review. In cybersecurity you do have to reach out. You can't know everything. There are a select few individuals who I don't know, they seem very prima donna. That's not who I am. I don't like the tension. I don't like limelight. So it annoys me some people who are, and I hate this term too, like influencers. And I was like, it seems like all they do is just want attention. And I think in the cybersecurity industry, we do a bad job of like feeding into that. Um, and I think that can also weed out a lot of the other voices in the room. So then you'll have like some very strong personalities and very strong voices, and then you don't get to hear the other voices. And I try to be very cognizant of that, and I try to, I get asked to speak a lot, so I try to divert and I will say, no, actually, let me introduce you to somebody else. They haven't gotten a chance to speak yet. You should to hear from them. They have a really cool talk or whatever. Let me recommend them to you instead of me. And I wish more people in the industry would do that. If you've had your turn, share the mic. Shout out to my friend who founded Share the Mic at Cyber. And so I think that's the that's the biggest thing is like there can be a lot of egos in this industry, and there shouldn't be. In cybersecurity, it should just be a team. We all work together. We all watch each other's backs, especially on the blue team side. Um, and I think that will also help alleviate some of the other issues, right? The pay equity issues, or you know, making a more inclusive and diverse and equitable work environment. Check your ego at the door. We don't
Yeah.
need that. And that
Mhm.
goes for both genders because I've had women be very egotistical, men be very egotistical. So that's equal opportunity being a shithead, I think, with the egos.
Tell me a little bit what you hate most about the cybersecurity industry.
I think the thing that gets to me most is the battle them with bullshit mindset that too many people have. And I know that there are a lot of practitioners out there who are guilty of this. I know there are a lot of vendors out there who are guilty about this. Um, there are too many people think that if you fall into jargon and start spouting geek speak, that you're going to impress people. In fact, the opposite is true. All you're going to do is turn them off because they're going to start tuning you out, and then you've lost your message, and potentially you've lost an opportunity that could be quite valuable. So security at the end of the day is always around business risk and what it means for our business if we get it wrong. And if I cannot explain to my executives what the business risk is, what the of a particular vulnerability or whatever the case may be, if I cannot explain how it could potentially impact our achievement of our strategy, I failed completely.
I want to dig into some of the juicy stuff here.
Yeah.
Which gets a lot of traction because we always want to know as marketers and sellers what you hate most about this industry, the cybersecurity industry.
Cold calls. I really hate those cold emails or whatever you want to call them. I get a lot of those and they go straight into my spam folder. It's just not necessary to do that. If I need something, I'll reach out. I'll do my initial assessment. I'll reach out and go after that. The second thing is overpromise and underdeliver. Just be honest what the product can and cannot do. And I asked a couple of vendors that I work with and have worked with in the past. Okay, so from a business risk perspective, let's say this SaaS product or this DaaS product or this scanner that you have, does it know when there's a business logic flaw in here? And 9 out of 10 times they immediately say yes, which is absolutely blatantly false. Because how can a scanner understand the context in which an application actually works inside a business? And if you can't put it into the app so that it knows that, and most of these tools that you can get, they can't do that, if not all. Yeah, you can't do that proper business risk assessment, business security risk assessment.
One last thing before we kind of wrap up here. And this is not just about the marketers, the salespeople, the vendors in the industry itself, cybersecurity, the market. What do you hate most about it?
We're not all rowing in the same direction. I'm actually thinking about this. It's so those of us that are at the pointy end, we're fighting. And I mean, this is not fun. We're fighting. And not only are we fighting our adversaries that are trying to get in, we're fighting sales, marketing, vendors, and suppliers. That sucks. Because I'm fighting facing forward and I'm also having to watch my back. That's never a good situation to be in. What it should be is vendors, suppliers, and marketers should be sitting there going, hey, how much more ammo do you need? You covered? I got you covered. What do you need? How do you need? Hey, I noticed you're using this. I can't help but, hey, George has got some more ammo over there. Hey, George, get your ass over here. Hey, he's got you covered. I'll see you next week or next month or next year. That's what we need. And we don't have that. And that hurts.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Audience First. If you like what you've heard, feel free to follow or subscribe to Audience First on Apple, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcast streamers.